has expired. The gentlelady is recognized.
Thank you. I seek unanimous consent to introduce into the record the research that Representative Kamlager-Dove and I referenced concerning the threat of right-wing domestic terrorism, which the Department of Justice scrubbed from its website in September.
Without objection, the gentlelady from
Thank
Texas
you.
is recognized.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. And to be clear, I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions. But instead, I'm going to ask some very basic questions really quickly of my colleague, Becca Ballant, if she will answer right or wrong, raping children.
Wrong.
Right or wrong, killing random citizens.
Definitely wrong.
Right or wrong, enriching yourself as the sitting president of the United States.
Definitely wrong.
Okay, thank you, because I probably never would have got that with our witness. Our witness who somehow is a lawyer but does not understand how it works with witnesses. I'm not really sure what law school she went to and what all kind of cases she tried, but typically when you come into a space and somebody's a witness, then they sit there and they answer questions instead of asking questions. And then we also have this objection that we use as lawyers called non-responsive when a witness fails to actually answer the question. But nevertheless, let me address the survivors because that's exactly who they are. They are not victims, they are survivors. Let me say thank you for having more courage and moral clarity in your pinky fingers than the entire Department of Justice. We are currently the laughingstock of the world, partially because of the failed leadership within the DOJ as we see kings and queens falling everywhere around the world. But we don't know the basics of right and wrong in this country because it's not about partisanship. And that's why I applaud Thomas Massie, because he's the only person on the Republican side that has a backbone and knows how to stand up to corruption. But nevertheless, let me keep going. My Democratic colleagues have been attacked this entire committee hearing. They have been lied on. And frankly, the American people weren't looking for that. They were looking for answers about the corruption that they see coming from this administration. In the written testimony of this witness, of this particular witness, she stated that when she took office, she had two main goals. The first was to end the weaponization of justice, and second, to return the department to its core mission. Not only have you lied about both, you've intentionally done the exact opposite. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting journalists than you are prosecuting pedophiles and creeps. In fact, your boss, the President of the United States, stated that this administration, quote, took the freedom of speech away. And at your direction, DOJ has arrested Don Lemon and Georgia Fort. And I might add that y'all actually had a judge that rejected y'all for trying to arrest Don Lemon before, just like the grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Kelly, just like a grand jury rejected y'all as it relates to Senator Slotkin, just like the case against Tish James was dismissed and the case against Mr. Comey was dismissed. I completely don't get how it is that you're sitting at the top of DOJ because you don't seem to be good at your job. You're spending more taxpayer resources arresting these journalists. In fact, we know after Georgia Fort and Don Lemon were arrested, we know that there were homes of journalists that were raided. We know that threatened prosecution against students protesting your actions and forced tech companies to remove apps used to track ISIS activities. But let's circle back to you protecting pedophiles and creeps, because I want to talk about the president and his possible involvement with Jeffrey Epstein. Now, I don't know what the president might have done with Jeffrey Epstein, but unlike this administration, I believe that facts matter, so let's talk about the facts. Fact number one, Donald Trump is one of the most named people in the Epstein files. At least 5,000 files contains more than 38,000 references to Trump, his wife, or Mar-a-Lago. Fact number two, Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell made young girls available to Trump on multiple occasions. For example, according to this file, Ghislaine Maxwell presented a young girl to President Trump who spent more than 20 minutes apparently flirting with her. Here's another example. This shows notes from FBI investigators that describe Jeffrey Epstein transporting a victim to Mar-a-Lago to meet with President Trump, where he bragged to Trump that, quote, this is a good one. Now, I'm not saying that the president is a pedophile, but there is a lot of evidence in these files that suggests that he's very close friends with a lot of men who are pedophiles. What's crazy about all of this is just that this is a big cover-up. And this administration is engaged in it. In fact, this administration is complicit. But there are numerous others, like how the DOJ is attempting to obstruct justice in the investigation of the rogue agents who have murdered American citizens, or how the DOJ seized voter data from Fulton County in an attempt to steal the 2026 midterm elections, or how federal agents have Tom Homan on tape accepting a bribe and your agency killed the investigation, or how your agency is ready to give the president a $230 million payday, which is unconstitutional. The Constitution is clear. The president shall not receive any payment except his salary while in office. The fact of the matter is that you will be remembered as one of the worst attorney generals in history. An attorney general who has prioritized obstruction over justice, corruption over the law, fealty to the president over loyalty to the Constitution. And Mr. Chairman, I will yield.
Gentlelady yields. Gentleman from Missouri is recognized, excuse me, gentleman from Kansas, the Attorney General, former Attorney General, Mr. Schmidt is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and General Bondi, thanks for being here. Did you have anything you wanted to say before we talk?
I do. Thank you, Congressman. Thank you, my friend, for many years. I find it interesting that she didn't even want to try, Congresswoman Crockett, to ask any questions, because she certainly did not condemn her leader, Hakeem Jeffries, for taking money from Jeffrey Epstein after Epstein was convicted. And I will be brief to give you your time, Congressman. This is what she didn't want to talk about. Texas, from Cuba, convicted, homicide, arson, weapon offense.
Convicted.
You know,
So what we
Estrada,
talking about? Convict
Texas,
some of these
convicted,
perpetrators that
homicide.
rape these women that are
Chairman,
sitting
time
behind you
Time
that
belongs
you
to the
refuse
gentleman
to
from
even acknowledge
Kansas.
they are here.
Time belongs to the
Texas.
gentleman from Kansas.
Mr. Chairman, could I have a few seconds
You
back
bet,
to make
you
up
bet.
for the yelling? Thank
bet.
you. General, did you have anything
Congress.
further to say?
Texas, convicted of homicide. Cecil Joseph from Dominican Republic. Texas, convicted for kidnapping, rape. Khalid Khan from Afghanistan. That's why they want to talk about Epstein and not what's happening in their own states.
Thank you, General, and thank you for being here. And this has been quite a spectacle to observe today. I think it's sad. I ran for Congress because I thought we had serious problems in this country we wanted to try to fix together, and this performance today, not yours, General, but some of my colleagues, has not shored up my confidence that we are up to the task. You and I served together for 8 years when you were Attorney General of Florida and I in Kansas. You served professionally. I'm glad to be able to serve with you in these new roles, and I'm
Jasmine Crockett wasted no time setting the tone of this hearing. Instead of pretending she expected answers, she looked directly at the witness and delivered a line that instantly grabbed the room's attention. "I'm not going to ask any questions of this witness because this witness has revealed that she has no intentions of answering questions." With that statement, Crockett made her position clear. She believed the witness was avoiding accountability, and she was not interested in participating in what she saw as a pointless exchange. Then she shifted the focus away from politics and toward basic questions of right and wrong. Turning to a colleague, she asked, "Right or wrong raping children?" "Wrong." "Right or wrong killing random citizens?" "Definitely wrong." "Right or wrong enriching yourself as the sitting president of the United States?" "Definitely wrong." The questions were simple, but that was exactly the point. Crockett appeared to be arguing that some issues should not require partisan debate or complicated explanations. One of the most emotional moments came when she addressed the people in the room whom she described as survivors. They are not victims. They are survivors. She thanked them for speaking out and said they had shown extraordinary courage. Whether viewers agree with her broader arguments or not, it was clear that this portion of her remarks was aimed at recognizing the experiences of those who felt unheard. Crockett then turned her attention to the Department of Justice and the witness's written testimony. According to Crockett, the witness had stated that her goals were to end what she described as the weaponization of justice and to return the department to its core mission. Crockett strongly rejected that claim. She argued that the department had moved in the opposite direction and accused it of focusing on the wrong priorities. She referenced arrests involving journalists and claimed the administration had failed to provide convincing answers to concerns about transparency and accountability. The most controversial portion of her remarks involved Jeffrey Epstein. Crockett pointed to documents and records that she argued raised important questions about individuals connected to Epstein. She referenced allegations and information she said appeared in files related to the investigation. Importantly, Crockett stopped short of directly accusing President Trump of criminal wrongdoing. Instead, she argued that the public deserved greater transparency and that questions surrounding Epstein's network should be fully examined. Supporters of Crockett viewed this as an attempt to demand accountability from powerful figures. Critics, however, argued that many of these claims remain disputed and that allegations should not be treated as proven facts without sufficient evidence. As her speech continued, Crockett broadened her criticism beyond the Epstein issue. She accused the Department of Justice of failing to properly address multiple concerns raised by lawmakers and the public. She argued that the department had become more focused on protecting political interests than restoring public trust. Then came her closing statement. She told the witness that history would judge the decisions being made today, and accused the department of placing loyalty to political leadership above loyalty to the Constitution. It was one of the most intense moments of the hearing. What happened next was equally revealing. Rather than directly addressing many of the points Crockett raised, the discussion quickly shifted into partisan back-and-forth exchanges. Supporters of the administration defended its record, while opponents argued that the hearing demonstrated exactly why more scrutiny is needed. Whether viewers agree with Jasmine Crockett or strongly disagree with her, one thing is difficult to deny. She delivered one of the most talked-about moments of the hearing. Her supporters saw a lawmaker demanding accountability. Her critics saw a political attack designed to generate headlines. But regardless of where people stand politically, the exchange sparked a debate that extends far beyond a single committee room. Now the question is for you. Was Jasmine Crockett exposing serious concerns that deserved answers? Or was this simply another example of Washington politics at work?